When I was in Poland, we were to go in and set up an underground printing operation. The purpose of the press was to print Bible studies, to give a person a chance to read the gospel in his own language. Of course, to try and put something into Poland was strictly illegal. And to know that whenever you're doing anything for God, there's going to be friction in it because somebody's not going to like it. And it could be the government of a country, for that matter. But you go ahead and do what God told you to do. And you had to understand the situation in Poland. It was the government had the rifles, and the church didn't believe in shooting the people that had the rifles. So it was sort of a peaceful resistance, and they were very good at it. But the government would allow the printing to go on, but they would control the plates. And any kind of a printing press, if you don't have the metal plate, you can't print. So the guy could have a printing press, but he couldn't print anything. He'd get paper, but he wouldn't have the plates. And so we were in the business of smuggling plates into the country. And I didn't know anything about printing, but it didn't matter. God was going to handle this thing. And it really was a lesson in how God is capable of using anybody if they're available to do whatever He wants to do, and He will give you the wherefore to handle the situation. So we were going to bring in this huge press. It might have weighed 1,000 pounds, but I mean, it was a big press. And then the process began of getting this piece of machinery into the country. The people there pray, is like they do in the book of Acts, Lord, give me boldness. And there's a risk there. We've had people killed. And the guy that was driving the truck came in with his family and 2 kids. Now it had to get across without being sealed. And frankly, that was going to be a miracle to have that happen. The whole thing was a miracle as far as I was concerned. And I used to call it the Keystone Cop Caper because we didn't have any idea what we were doing. I mean, we knew what we were doing, but it was not going to happen unless God made it happen, period. So the press went into the country. And during the night, the priest unloaded the truck and put in the same weight of junk, used auto parts in the truck, because they weighed the truck. And then the press was put into 2 pieces and raised it up the side of a building and put it in the attic of the convent. And that's how the press got in. So, I mean, the whole thing was insane, you know, but as a result of all of this work going on, the lives of tens of thousands of Poles were affected. Thousands of people came to know Christ personally, and we saw whole families changed. It was really an example of the courage of the people in the country to want to do it, and then the courage of the guys bringing it in. And it was just an example of how God works. Of course, I tell people, I said, everything that happens when in that situation or any other situation, it's God's hand that allows it to happen. And it says in John, the 15th chapter, that unless you abide in me, you can do nothing. So that's pretty definite that apart from Christ, you're not going to see anything happen that you think is going to happen. And I think every once in a while God lets it get caught just to remind us that it's totally on His, it's not going to happen unless He does the work. And that's been the lessons I've learned over and over and over again. And that doesn't mean I don't get in the way of things every once in a while, but I know where the power comes from. And it was just an incredible time.